Let's go!
So Ronaldo's obviously in Fatal Fury, and it is one of the weirdest crossovers ever. But in the scale of my knowledge and information of fighting games and the history therein, there's been a lot of really weird crossovers just in general in fighting games. And we've talked about some of the best crossovers ever. And yes, there's a lot of amazing guest characters and stuff in fighting games just in general. But sometimes some of them feel ridiculously out of place. And we're just like, dude, what are we doing? What is this? What is going on? And I've come up with a list, and I'm going to try to put them in an appropriate order of weirdness and also, I would say, comparable time frame, because the longer we go, you know, for example, Sonic the Hedgehog in a Nintendo game, pretty weird for the time, now not so much. That being said, there's one that really sticks out to me that we should probably bring up first. So my nomination number one for weird characters in fighting games that feel like this is weird. This is either like a money thing or some crazy person on the development team's fever dream. Comes from good old classic Tekken 3. And in Tekken 3, there's this little dinosaur dude by the name of Gon. Maybe not that weird, just because there was other animal-like characters in Tekken before, but this guy being really tiny and really funky, odd to play in a variety of ways, as we are seeing right here, is definitely bizarre. But as time would go on, Gon doesn't become very bizarre in the Tekken verse. He becomes kind of like, things like this can certainly happen, you know? So I think one of the older weird ones that would show up in a game, but still one of the ones that is kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. Over time, this isn't that bad. The other one that is got a big story behind it, and we've made videos talking about this in the past because the dude came back. I'm going to use my own video as reference. Norimaru in Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. This guy. And the reason this guy is a big deal is because he was modeled after an actual comedian in Japan. And the dude, the devs were just a fan of the dude, just in general, and they put the guy in the game. So this isn't like a real human. This guy is like a personality character, the same way that Pee Wee Herman was not Paul Rubin. Pee Wee Herman was a stage presence character that was fictional, right? That wasn't him. It's sort of like a likeness thing, and they put all of his skits and funny stuff into Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter exclusively in the Japanese one. And this doesn't show up until in the US or anywhere else, quite literally until the latest collection of the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. So yeah, okay, I'll give it credit. This one's also pretty weird and is one of those like fever dreams of the devs kind of situation. Imagine if Mr. Bean was in Street Fighter 6. There's some other weird ones, trust me. Around the mid-90s, there's a lot of weird mascots. There is an especially weird one that shows up in the mid-90s for Pepsi. And to cement this legacy, the Pepsi would become a man, and he would get his own game on PlayStation, but he was a part of like a weird, I think, Japanese marketing for Pepsi. In some way, Pepsi Man shows up in Fighting Vipers, the Sega long-running fighting game series, you know. Pepsi Man is playable exclusively in the Saturn Japanese version, I think, of Fighting Vipers, and he's literally a walking logo and advertisement of Pepsi. I'm guessing it's because Pepsi Man and the marketing campaign over in Japan was awkwardly successful, the same way that Sega Tasanshiro was maybe for Sega Saturn. I don't know, man. This is so weird. And he looks just bizarre. Like if you look at his mouth and stuff when he wins, it's freaky. It's like freakish. Like what the hell? Pepsi Man! Damn, now I want a Pepsi. In the same vein of crazy ass Sega stuff, this one's pretty weird. And this one I'll always remember just because personally I bought this game when it came out. I pre-ordered it, I was super excited, and it was like, hell yeah, dude, let's go. And then you unlock all the characters, and there's a 41 down here. And you're like, what? And this makes sense because it's in a Sega universe. I get you. That makes the most sense, but this character is a bipedal car. Ready? Ignore the bear. Ignore the barely animating and functioning bear animal. The car has grown sentience, stood up on two legs like some amoeba arriving on a beach, ready to evolve, and the blue skies. Ignore the bear, all right? The bear isn't nearly as fantastical as the walking hornet from Daytona USA. Yes, this is real. It's a thing that happened. Sega was just throwing whatever the hell they wanted into this game. So yeah, that's pretty weird. Oh yeah, we did not make this up, dude. So around the PlayStation era, there was this little series called Battle Arena Toshinden, right? This game also came out on many other things, but it came out on PC. And in the PC version, a period era martial arts game, okay? So you just have like characters from a variety of stuff. You have samurai guy, you have other samurai guy, you have guy with clubs, sex queen. And then you get Earthworm Jim. Out of complete left field. It's like you're firing up Dynasty Warriors and you arrive at the castle in the gates and something kicks the door down to confront all of the armies of, you know, the 13 kingdoms or whatever. And Earthworm Jim walks out or some shit with his wooden club. He doesn't even have his gun. They were reaching so hard. So yeah, this is weird as shit. It doesn't make any sense. It's just there because somehow they have the approval to do it. And as I understand it, yeah, it's like the PC version. It's not even the console version that has it. It's a funky deal that someone wrote out probably just before the game came out. And here's the funny part. It's mostly a skin because this is Rongo. Rongo? And you know what? I'm going to throw this in there too. This one's kind of a stretch. In the 1990s, when Capcom would go on to make an X-Men game, hey, we're making an X-Men game, right? Cool. Wonderful X-Men game. But through the process of some crazy code, they included, which released in the same year, Akuma from Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which was the first year he was introduced. He doesn't look like he belongs in the game at all. Like, he doesn't look like any of the characters do. If you compare him to other, like, human-sized characters and stuff, he's awkwardly tiny because he is just the sprite ripped directly from Super Turbo. And it directly, like, sort of begins the theory craft that, like, Capcom Street Fighter exists in the same universe as this. I honestly think this wasn't even approved by Marvel. I think they just did this shit and he's like a part of the game as he whoops the Silver Samurai's ass. And I get it. We're like familiar with this. We have been sort of inundated with Marvel versus Capcom stuff over all of the years. So this sort of is like normal to us now. But in this time frame, no, dude, this was bizarre. This was one of the weirdest like crossovers that could have happened. It didn't make any sense other than the fact that Capcom just dropped them in here, so why the hell not? And I like to give this one a shout out. Right around a much later time frame, Tekken exists. There's a new character in Tekken by the name of Lars Alexanderson. And for some reason, Bandai Namco, who's the publisher of a new Naruto game, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, they take it upon their free will and they put Lars into Naruto. They take a Tekken character and then just throw him into Naruto. Now, I'll give them credit. Here's where I give them credit in this situation. They redesign him completely, right? They make him look like he's got some Buji no Jutsu or some shit. So they do completely recondition his design. And because of that, yeah, exactly. He doesn't look out of place. He looks like almost kind of like he belongs here. So I'll give them credit. Did he just pull out the Tekken gun? Was that the Tekken 6 gun that you can pick up? That's funny. Either way, it's a weird one, but it's still, they managed to make it feel like it makes sense, which is why I give some of these credit, is that some of them feel like completely out of left field, but this one, I almost give a pass because they put some effort into creating a world around, you know, Lars showing up in a Naruto game, you know? It feels like he's just from another clan or some shit. Now this one is out of left field, but also ridiculously welcome. Sometimes you get characters that show up in fighting games that, again, feel normal now. But when it happened was the weirdest, most impossible, most insane thing. Felt out of left field, felt like it didn't belong.
Snake, you know who that is?
You're kidding, right? It's Mario.
Mario made his first appearance in 1981. And since then, he's become a worldwide phenomenon. There's probably not a single person who doesn't know Mario. He's that famous.
Good thing I survived long enough to meet him on the field of battle, huh?
This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, Snake. Now get out there and show him what you're made of. No regrets.
Got it.
This shit was crazy. This shit still is crazy to think about now, right? This shit still is insane. To me, it's like, it doesn't fit in any way. But what Snake sort of does is sort of change the expectations of what Smash can be as a game, which is cool, right? It gives us an idea of where Sakurai's brain is going for the next games and the games thereafter, to the point where characters like Minecraft Steve and like Cloud and Sephiroth and shit don't really feel that out of place. They just feel like crazy dreams come true, you know, for a lot of people. Sora. That's why I think Snake is like kind of unexpected, weird, doesn't belong here, but sets up for a future that is like arguably one of the best things that Smash Brothers would lead to, which is the fact that anything can show up in any way, you know? This was weird, man. And granted, I was very excited about it. It was like, that's impossible. This is ridiculous. Who the hell would ever do that? But they did it.
Met their match.
This is crazy. What in the hell? Like, imagine us in like 2007 or something like that, right when the prequel era is happening. It's like wrapping up and stuff. That happens, dude. And then, of course, subsequently, Yoda, also pretty crazy. Starkiller, also pretty crazy. But Darth Vader versus Mitsurugi, Darth Vader versus Nightmare and shit. Like, what is that? So, yes, it's extremely weird. It's extremely out of place. We've never gotten futuristic shit, much less characters from an entirely different universe. So, to me, it's definitely bizarre. But in one of those situations where it's like a Smash thing, it's like, what? You know? And again, I get it. I'll give it some credit. It was exciting. The execution was only okay, but it was exciting. Leading us to the end here. I didn't know what I was looking at, man. I didn't know what the hell I was looking at. This is so... What? This is still incredibly bizarre.
Pissing our pants yet?
What? It still is weird to look at.
I have a feeling we're getting close. You know the deal. What's about to happen is gonna be hard to watch. Shit! Not cool. Not cool.
They did this whole trailer for this, I just realized. What in the hell, bro? This is still really bizarre. Like, completely out of nowhere. Doesn't really feel like it fits in Tekken. Is just weird. But also weird in a freaky kind of I like it way. In a freaking weird way. So yeah, you know, I just feel so out there. Lucian Cyberpunk feels like that makes sense, okay? Compared to all the stuff that we're looking at right now, we're not rating the guests and things. We're rating the guests and the characters that make absolutely no sense. Things that are just completely out of left field and leave you just wondering, how are we here? Why is this happening sort of situation? Some people would say that like, oh, you know, we'd had this conversation about it. This is just like Shaq Fu, or this is just like LeBron James in Multiverses. I'm like, yeah, but LeBron James in Multiverses like had his Space Jam costume on, dude. Like he had his Space Jam costume. This is truly bizarre. Like feels like marketing dollars just at work for the sake of marketing dollars at work. in many ways. Is it going to be beneficial for the game? We don't know yet, but you know, it can't not be. And I don't know if his implementation or realization is super good, but he might be crazy fun. Here's all I'll say. Ronaldo can't not be OP. I've proposed this idea a few times. Imagine if Ronaldo shows up, a regular human man with a ball, and he kicks the ball around with varying levels of force, which is his power. He also jumps kind of high. Imagine if Ronaldo shows up in a game where he's fighting wizards and lizards and dudes and boys shooting plasma left and right. He doesn't have a jumping Reppuken or anything like that. He doesn't have any of that stuff. He has his energetic Earth-like powers and the history of his accomplishments behind him. So if he jumps into Fatal Fury and he gets zoned out by Kind constantly saying box of ramen and he can't move in at all and the matchup's like a 1-9, that's not going to look good. I'm wondering how he's going to match up to some of the rest of the characters in Fatal Fury with all their crazy wizard powers, and if they're just going to give him ridiculous frame data to make up for that, right? Because he has a ball. He's a guy with a ball. To me, he has to be good, because it would be even more hilarious if one of the biggest, craziest crossovers ever in video game history in some way is bad. And everyone that's playing Ronaldo exclusively for Ronaldo is like, why does this game suck? And then they play another character that shoots plasma all the time, has dumb as hell neutral skips, and they're like, whoa, oh, I'm just having fun now. That would be hilarious. So yeah, I think this one's definitely odd. In the pantheon of like all the crazy stuff that we've talked about, there are definitely weird ones in here that don't really feel like they belong and are just marketing dollars or, F it kind of situations we can do it. But this wasn't an F it situation we can do it. Like, we know, bro, this was very expensive. Dude, can I even find anything on this? Holy shit. Is there even any videos of this existing? I might have to be one of the only people to show up and like turn this into a video. What you're looking at is indeed real. And you're like, that's odd. Okay, so somewhere around the mid-2000s, Obama became a guest character in a fighting game. Look again. It was a weird Japanese-only Street Fighter mobile game. A mid-2000s mobile game. And yeah, that's pretty weird. That's pretty friggin' weird. PC Japan only game. What the hell? Was he OP though? Wait, what?
Here's a ticket to my show tonight.
Who the hell is this?
I hope you can make it.
Who the hell is this guy? Who? What?